Welcome. In today's session, what we are going to learn is we are going to learn advanced where with multiple conditions. We are also going to learn group by, and we are going to learn how to use and implement having condition. So without any ado, let's start. So we will first understand how do we work with where condition. So currently we have this. Let's look at the data that we have. We are only going to work with students. So let's start. Select star. So let's run this query and let's see what we have not selected. Okay, let's use this first. Let's tell it which database we are going to use, and then let's run this query. Let's see. So currently we have this is the data that we have right now. So if we want to use where condition, we can give it a condition that we only want to see a certain number of entries. Let's look at that. Where age, let's see, we want students whose age is greater than 20. Let's say we can also couple it with another thing, but first let's look at this. Let's run this query. So here it shows only those students who are older than 20. If we want, we can also couple this up with one more thing. We can use and along with where age is equal to 20 is greater than 20, and course should be, let's say, we first see which all course do we have. Let's say course is equal to data science. Course, and let's see, then it will only, okay, so the only person who is older than 20 and has a data science course is Rahul Sharma. So this is the where condition, and we have coupled it with and condition. So let's look at or condition. We can also couple it with or, same thing. Okay, so what we can do is select star from students where course is equal to data science, or or course is equal to what were the courses? Of course is equal to full stack. Let's take course is equal to either data science or full stack. So you can use this condition as well. So you will see all the students who have either data science course or full stack course, they are shown. So what do we do if we want to use a lot of ors, or if we don't want to use or, but how can we make it simpler without using or? We can also use in condition. Let's understand how do we work with in condition. Select star from students where course course instead of is equal to, I will use in, and I can tell which all courses do I want. So data science, comma, full stack. So instead of using or, I have written both of them in a single line, and I have used in condition instead of or. So what it will do is it will tell all, same answer it will be given, but it will tell all the students whose courses, basically courses, are matching data science or full stack. Let's see. So here the advantage is I can add one more course without writing the entire thing again and again. But this is how we use where along with in. Now we'll see how we use where with between. Select star from students where age, let's say age, I want age, let's say I want age to be between what, let's say I want age to be between 19 and 22. So you see all the students who are between the ages of 19 and 22, they all have come over here. So along with this we can also use one more thing with where, which is like. Okay, so it will tell, let's say so along with where there is one more condition that we can use, which is like. Let's understand how it is working. Where, so it's very important that you understand what's going on here. First name. So what will happen is, if I write like this, R, and then I'll give a percentage sign after this. So what will happen is, if I write it like this, so every name that matches R, that is starting with R, or and whatever, like the percentage is signifying that everything that is starting with R. Okay, so what it will do is it will give all the names of students whose names start with R. Okay, I can write the percentage in the beginning also to say that all the students whose name or something ends with something like that, some letter of my choice. So let's run this query first. So it will give all the students who are having first name, whose first name is starting with R. So I can also reverse this. I can make it something like, let's do this, let's use course is, let's say it is not starting with a certain digit, it is ending with D, let's say. So there is no student whose course is ending with D, but let's say, is there any student whose course is ending with K? So see, so what it is doing in this case is all the students whose courses are ending with a certain digit, certain letter, they are displaying this. So always remember, wherever is this percentage sign, it will assume that either you want it in the beginning or in the end. So if the percentage sign is in the beginning and then you're providing the letter at the end, then it will automatically give all the entries in which that particular letter is coming at the end. Or if it is in the beginning and the percentage sign is coming after that, it means that it will give all the letters or all the entries in which that particular entry has this letter in the beginning. So let's understand this with the help of a whiteboard. So let's say there is this name called Radha. So if I want to call out this name, there are two ways I can call out names that are similar to this. Either I can use the percentage sign in the beginning and put A at the end. So what it will do is it will call out all the names that are ending with A. Or I can also do one thing, that I can write percentage sign in the end and write the first letter. So what in this condition it will do, it will call out all the names that are starting with R. So this is how, these are the two ways, and it is not just true for names, you can do it for any other column as well. And like always, you can stack it with other things as well, or you can stack these commands with other commands as well. So let's move on to the next part, which is group by. Let's understand how group by works. So let's understand this by counting the students in every course. Let's see. Select course, and now I want to count all the students. So count bracket, I can write whatever I want to count as. Now it will also, this whatever I'm writing after as, it will basically tell the title of that column, of the temporary column. So now from students and group by course. So there should not be any gap between this, and let's see. Okay, so now what it did was, basically it took this column, course column, and what it did was it grouped students by course, okay, in that course column, and it counted all the students in that, but every single course. So total students was a temporary title that I gave over here, gave to these. I hope this is clear. So let's understand how we can use group by and join function together. So what we will be doing is, we will be calculating the average SGPA of every course, and let's see how we can merge the two functions or two queries together and make a new complex query out of it. So let's see. Select students dot course comma AVG average results dot S as. So this will be again a temporary column name, like in the previous query we learned, from students, which will be inner joining on, let's see, on students dot student id is equal to results dot. So we shall be using student id as the common column because it is the common column, and also it is the primary key for student table, and it is the foreign key for results table. So if you remember, in the last session we did all this. Let's put the group by action at the end. Group by students dot course. So let's see if this works or not. So what we are trying to achieve from this is we want to find out average SGPA of every single course, and we are using group by and join function together in this query. See what do we get. So see, the average SGPA for data science is this, and average SGPA for PhD is this. Okay, and I guess the full stack, the full stack has no SGPA. I think it was missing, the entry was missing, so that it is not shown. So if you remember, we discussed what things will be shown and what things will not be shown in our join class, and we did that session in the previous class. So if you are not clear on this, please watch that video and you will understand it better. The link will be given in the description. Let's move on to the having part, and this is a very important concept. Let's understand this. So in this query, we'll understand this with the help of example. Let's see. And also very important, whenever you are using having, the query is using having keyword, you will not use you will not use where. You cannot use where query along with having query. So let's select course comma count. So again, as again total students. So this will be of course a temporary column name, total students from students group by course having count. So the count should be, so it will, let's say count is either, let's take it as equal to 1. So all the courses that only have one students, it will give all the courses that only has one student. Let's run this. So PhD and full stack has only one student. I can change this also. I can make it as greater than 1 to find out all the courses that have more than one student. So only data science has more than one student, which is 2. So let's move on to the last part, which is we'll try to see how we can use inner join along with having and group by. Let's see how it works. Let's take an example. So these kind of queries might be very, very useful. So that is why we are trying to learn a very complex query also. So So we'll look at it. Select students dot course and average of results.sgpa as, now again a temporary name as the average SGPA from students. Now we'll use inner join. Results on student dot student ID. This is again the join rule of results. So along with this, not just this, we will also try to group them by students.course. Which have an average this was the temporary name that we gave in the beginning. Average SGPA should be greater than 8. So this is what this query is doing. This query will basically select all the students and group them by courses, and group them by courses, and then it will find out the average of results, basically results column. The column of SGPA from the results, and then it will keep them as average SGPA, and it will take it the students the students table, and it will inner join that students table on results table, and then they will group them by, every student will be grouped by the course, and then every course that is has an average SGPA greater than 8, it will be shown. Let's see. So basically only those courses that have average SGPA that is greater than 8 are being shown over here. So that was it. Let's understand what we did in the last part. We basically grouped everything together. So what we did was, in the last query, this query is calculating the average SGPA for each course by combining data from students and results tables. It uses inner join to match each student with their SGPA using student ID. Then it groups the data by course using group by, basically this group by. Okay. And after that it calculates the average SGPA for each using average. After group by, then it is calculating this average. Finally, the having clause filters and shows only those courses where the average SGPA is greater than 8. Alright, so basically let's understand how the sequence of the SQL or SQL commands work. So first, regardless what query you give to the SQL, first thing the SQL looks for is from. Okay, first SQL takes the execution, regardless in what order you write. The first SQL executes from, and then it executes where. We cannot find where over here because where is not used in this query, but then it will use where, and then it will go to group by. Okay, after where it will go to group by, and then it will go to having, and then it will go to select. Then select will be executed at the end, and then order by, and then at the end limit. We'll understand order by and limit in the next sessions, but this is a very important topic that I think you should know, and this is the perfect time to tell you, because you have understood how a lot of these queries are run. And now going further, when we will look at the remaining two queries, we'll understand them better also. So that was all for the day. Thank you.